morning. I just want to commend you because being here on a Saturday on a rainy day is the first step. I think that one of the keys to being successful in law school and as an attorney is just showing up. That's the first step. And you're here, and there are many people who are not here. So that's a huge leg up you already have. I'm going to break up my talk into 3 sections, and I'm going to put my phone here so I keep on time. Because at 15 minutes, I'm going to try and keep myself to that. The first part is me telling you a little bit about myself. The second is telling you about, or giving you some tips. And they're my own personal thoughts about what it takes to be successful. Take them for what you will. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Hispanic National Bar Association and why I'm involved in it and why I think it's a useful organization. So who am I? My name's Ray. I grew up in the South Bronx, which at the time was the poorest congressional district in the United States and still is as of the 2010 census. Grew up with a single mom. First to go to college in my family, first to go to law school. And so getting to be an attorney at Sutherland is a privilege and not an easy process. I practice law in the corporate space. I specifically focus on derivatives. I'm not going to bore you and tell you what a derivative is because A, I'm not sure that I really know, but B, I don't want to make your eyes glaze over. As an aside, part of being an attorney is partaking in networking events. And if I want to get out of a conversation, I start explaining what a derivative is because people's eyes glaze over and I can get out really quickly. Before I went to law school, I was a New York City public school teacher. I taught for 6 years, and it was fantastic. Really a formative experience. And frankly, while the pay was not the same that I get paid now, the bonuses were much better. I also met my wife as a teacher, so I don't think any firm can beat that bonus. I currently serve as the president of Region 5 of the Hispanic National Bar, which covers D.C., Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. And I encourage you to just reach out after this talk if you have any questions or want to touch base or anything. Okay. So here are my tips for success. The first one is work hard. And I know that sounds like a given, right? We're going to get personal or real. There are very few lawyers of color, period. Okay? Getting to be a lawyer of color is difficult in and of itself. And once you hit that, it's even harder to be successful. Okay? So the baseline is working hard. Okay? If you don't work hard, you will not succeed. And what does working hard mean? It doesn't mean staying up till 3 in the morning unnecessarily, but it means being willing to put the time in. Okay? It means being willing to study up on things that perhaps you don't want to study up on because you need those things to be successful. Okay? Anyone who tells you grades do not matter is lying to you. Anyone who tells you that pedigree doesn't matter is lying to you. I hate to say that. I wish I didn't have to say that. I went to a law school that's not a top-tier law school. And for me to become a lawyer at a law firm, I had to hustle because my firm does not hire at my law school. In fact, when I got to my law firm as a summer associate in 2009, I realized that my process for getting to the law firm was radically different from everyone else's. Let me explain why. Normally, you come in, you meet 3 people, 20-minute little interviews, you chit-chat about the weather and something that's going on in the news, and then 2 people take you to lunch. That's your interview process. Okay, it's very nice and friendly. Not for me. I met every member of the hiring committee. Every single member of the hiring committee. I didn't even know that till I got back. And they were like, "You met all 12?" Yes, because the firm was not comfortable hiring at my law school. And as a result, it was harder. So my advice to you is worry about your grades because they are important for you to get to a good law school. And once you're at a good law school, you need to keep those grades up if you want to have options. Now, I don't think everyone should be a law firm attorney. It's not for everyone. I personally really enjoy it. But regardless of what your path is, where you want to be, your pedigree and your grades will matter. And anyone who tells you that they don't is lying to you. The third is be genuine. It's taken me a while to get there. Because my experience is different from my colleagues' experience, oftentimes you can get this perception that you have to kind of conform, right? To be successful, you have to be a member of the group, right? That's a step to failure because it's not sustainable. You have to be yourself. I have the privilege of serving on our firm's hiring committee. And what that means is that pretty much every candidate who comes into the firm, I see their resume, I see their information, and I get an opportunity to meet a fair amount of them. The people who are most successful are just themselves. If you're not a sports fan, don't be a sports fan. If you don't care about maritime law, don't care about maritime law. Don't pretend that you care just because you want to get a job. Yes, it's important to get a job to show some interest, but don't make something up. Don't be someone who you are not. Be open-minded and seek opportunities. These opportunities are not going to come to you. You will need to go out and find ways to explore the law. As I said, I'm a derivatives lawyer. When I was in law school, I had no idea what a derivative was. In fact, I had no idea what a derivative was when I became an attorney. I got to the firm and they were like, derivative, and I was like, great, Investopedia. But the only reason I got there was because I happened to join the firm at a time when the Dodd-Frank Financial Reform Bill had passed, 2010. And no one else wanted to read it because it was long and boring. So I was like, well, I'm happy to be here. I will try it out. And if it works, great, and if it doesn't, I'll try something else. But it's been a very rewarding experience. You're going to see that throughout law school and your career. There are going to be opportunities where you can pick something up that nobody else is going to pick up. And when you pick it up, it's an opportunity. It gives you a chance to become an expert in an area that perhaps others are not. And that's just a leg up. Now, what I mean by taking opportunities is anything that gets presented to you that you're remotely interested in, check it out. You're not going to lose anything. Don't go in thinking, I want to be a litigator because I saw it on SVU, because that's what I did. I was like, I want to be a lawyer because I don't know what I'm going to do with my life. But I know that, it could be interesting. If I had not been open to trying other things, I wouldn't have ended up where I am now. I interned at Prudential Financial, which was not something that I thought I would be interested in. I wanted to be a litigator. Then I learned that there were things called securities, and there was a whole body of law called administrative law, and that was kind of what set me on my path. Mind the small stuff. Again, this sounds silly, but persons of color are scrutinized just a little bit more, okay? What that means is, and I'm not trying to show, cast any shade on my firm or anything like that, but I'm not going to lie to you and say that we're great at diversity. There have been countless number of meetings where I've sat down, and I will take 2 resumes, right? And one last name will be like mine, Ramirez, and one will not. If there's a typo on the Ramirez resume, that person is done. Like, it doesn't matter if they have a Harvard 4.0, the person is done. Because that's just the reality, they're sloppy. That's the impression, right? Mind the small stuff. So it means showing up to the meeting, being appropriately dressed. I have benefited incredibly from mentors and friends who have helped me out. And when I say mind the small stuff, I also mean know how you're being perceived. So one of the things I do, which is a terrible habit, is I do this. And I was at a career fair walking around meeting people with my pen in my ear. And I paid no mind to it until one of my mentors comes up and goes, Ray, take the pen out from behind your ear. What are you thinking? I wasn't thinking. I wasn't paying attention to it. I wasn't aware of how I was being perceived by other people. You have to be aware of that because then you can control it, right? So you want to present an image. Your resume does that. Your work does that. Your grades do that. All of that can be undermined if you don't pay attention to how you're coming across. And I'm going in order of importance here. Find mentors and build a network. I cannot tell you, you cannot do this alone. There's no way you are going to go through law school, be a successful attorney, and do everything by yourself. And if you think you can, you're going to fail. Keep in mind, the legal profession is a historically non-diverse profession. Okay? Folks are building networks with each other at the country club on Saturday. Emotional networks. They're the godfather or the godmother of their colleagues. You're walking in, you don't have that. So you have to build a network, and that's from day one. Any opportunity you can get. Anyone who says, hey, shoot me an email, here's my business card, take them up on that. Over time, you should try to build what's called, I'm not even going to pretend that I made this up. I learned this at a conference I went to. Build up your board of directors. What is your board of directors? It's your group of people you go to who know you, and who you can sound things off of, okay? And they're not going to be, they may not necessarily be your contemporary. They may not be the same age as you or whatever else. They may be parents, they may be aunts, uncles, former employers, etc. That board of directors are the people you're going to go to when you're thinking of making a career change, when you're thinking of exploring a new area of law, when you're thinking of what law school to go to, of what courses to take. You need a board of directors, and they have to know who you are, and you have to trust their advice. It doesn't mean you have to take their advice all of the time. You have to make your own decisions about your career, but you need a sounding board, and you need people who are backing you up, okay? Mentors are important, but even better than mentors are advocates. So find people who are going to sing your name from the rooftops, okay? That's the only way you're going to be successful. I've benefited, my own personal story is the following. I went to Pace Law School, graduated, and rather ended up interning at Prudential Financial. Met a guy, didn't really know me, didn't know me at all. But he said, you know what, if you ever have any questions, just give me a call. You know, so I shot him an email, you know, whatever. That man introduced me to a partner at my firm, and he became one of my advocates. He became one of the members of my board of directors. And subsequent to that, the partner became one of my advocates and the members of my board of directors. So seek out those people and network with them, really get to know them. And the last and most important one is give back. I know that you're thinking of starting your legal careers and you're thinking of where you're going to end up next. But once you get there, give back. Now serve as a mentor to the people who need mentors. Because the only way that we can improve the legal profession in terms of diversity is by looking back and helping each other up. Because no one else is going to do that. All right, let me tell you, so those are my tips. Let me tell you a little bit about the HMBA and why I'm involved. I'm primarily involved because the HMBA helps me to follow my own tips. The HMBA is the voice of the Hispanic legal community in the United States. It's got over 2,500 members, and they essentially track all of the key legislative and judicial issues facing our nation. They also put out a great deal of fantastic programming that are intended to increase the number of Latino attorneys in the United States and to help the community generally. Things like networking and mentorship programs run through MetLife. They have a public intellectual property summer seminar every year here in DC. They have a Latino commission, which is intended to study and also increase the representation of Latinas in the United States, primarily because they are the lowest represented group compared to their representation in the population. There's a Su Negocio program, which is intended to help small businesses, and they have fantastic conferences. And the reason I love participating in the HMBA is because it gives me an opportunity to grow. It presents new opportunities in terms of business. Okay, I've increased my network. Just going out and meeting people is huge. And also, it gives me an opportunity to give back. So I think I've ended with 2 minutes. So I don't know if we're allowed to take questions, but I'm happy to take questions. If not, Google, shoot me an email. I don't have enough business cards for all of you, but I do genuinely mean it when I say, if you have a question or need something, just shoot me a note, okay? Great, yes. Yes, sure. It's Ray, R-A-Y, dot Ramirez, R-A-M-I-R-E-Z, at Sutherland.com, S-U-T-H-E-R-L-A-N-D. Thank you, guys.